Hello, you're welcome to this coding challenge session. The title of this session is miniMaxSum. miniMaxSum is part of the 1 month preparation kit for interview preparations owned by HackerRank that I'm currently going through. So the question again is miniMaxSum. Now, before I go on with the question, if you're watching my video for the first time, I just want to let you know that I'm doing an interview preparation kit series. I'm doing the 1 month preparation kit from HackerRank, taking the questions one after the other. And I would appreciate it if you could subscribe so that you can easily get notified. Please subscribe. And to get first notifications, you can check the link in the description for the community. There is a community that you just need to join. And when I post the notifications, you get the notifications directly in your email. So you only get notifications when I post a new video, and that's it. So it's easy to join. It's easy to join. So you can find that in the description. And on the community, you can also meet other devs, you can discuss, you can comment, and all that's exciting. All right, back to the purpose of this video. So the question here says, given 5 positive integers, find the minimum and maximum values that could be calculated by summing exactly 4 of the 5 integers. Then print the respective minimum and maximum values as a single line of two separated long integers. Okay, so the example given here is an example of an array containing 5 items. Now, from the question, it says we should return the minimum and maximum values after summing exactly 4 of the 5 integers. So, from what I see here, is summed for the minimum sum, summed 1, 3, 5, 7, which gives 16. And for the maximum sum, they left out the first item and summed 3, 5, 7, 9 and got 24. So that looks like the pattern I'm expected to follow in order to get the minimum and maximum values after summing exactly 4 of the 5 integers. From what I see, exactly 5 integers might be passed in, but I understand that there are edge cases, and edge cases may mean that they may pass in up to 10 values. Well, the formula I see here is simple. To get the minimum sum, just omit the largest number, and to get the maximum sum, omit the smallest number. So, talking about smallest and largest number, how can I get that largest and smallest number? What if the array passed in was not sorted? What if I had 9 first and then I had 1 last? How can that be? So that tells me that I should be ready to sort before doing any of the summations or summing. Okay, so another thing I want to be concerned about aside the impute case is what I'm imputing. So I'm imputing numbers, the minimum and the maximum with space in between. So it's either I will be console logging. Yeah, I think that's it from the tests here. From this not really test, but from this code here that is feeding the array through, it shows that I would not be returning anything. I would only be returning something if this is assigned to a value. So I think from what I see, I might just be console logging. But let's test it out to see how I could solve this to the right answer. So as usual, I'll be heading to CodePen again because it allows me console log easily and I feel a lot comfortable here. So if you're a newbie to coding challenge, you're welcome. I'll do my best to explain in detail as I can all that I will be doing. And if you are not new to these things, I appreciate that you are going through this video, probably for fun or just to support the production of these videos. Thank you so much. I'm glad to have you here as well. All right, so I have copied the I've copied the function and I will be calling the array. It's going to be something 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Perhaps correct. Let me confirm that. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Yeah. I think that was nice to have remembered it. Okay, so first I will be console logging to see. Like I said, I always take into consideration people who are new, so I can engage their thoughts in the process of coming up with the algorithm. So new to this, I'm just console logging to be sure that I'm actually calling this function and the array can be accessed within this function. So I'll just run to check that. So while that is still running, because it's not so much of an importance, I'll just highlight the step that I want to take in comments format. So first, I would like to sort. I would sort the array, then I'll find min sum, then find max sum, then console dot log. Okay, so from the console here, I can see that my array is accessible within a function. Great start. So the next thing would be to sort. So assuming that this is not sorted, I'm just going to put in a test case here by just adding 5 in between 1 and 3 to be sure that whatever logic I use in sorting this array works perfectly. I'm going to use something called the sort method. What it's going to do is sort. It has the ability to sort in ascending order and descending order, ascending like from less to greatest or descending greatest to smallest. All right, so what I'll do is create this const or just redefine r equals r dot sort. Like so works. The default will be in ascending order, but there are other things, right, to that I could include within the sort, especially when I'm working with objects and I'm sorting based on certain array items, or object items. So I just want to sort by the properties of the different objects in an array, and all that, right? Or I just want to make it in descending order. There are other ways, some other values I can add here. That is the A, B, A to B. So if you're quite new, again, please just do a quick research on sorts. I recommend W3 schools. I have a private course on JavaScript that covers these things. You can let me know. Just apply to be a mentee, and I'll add you to those classrooms to have access to those exclusive courses. They're not available to download anywhere. All right, so you can see here, of course, I can see as well that it's sorted, right? So it's working. It's working. I'm not going to go deep into sorting in descending order. In ascending order, this works just fine. You can see the difference. 5 has moved after 3, right? Okay, so I'll take this away, take it off, and the next thing I said would be to find the minimum sum. So it means I'm going to be looping, but I'm not going to include the first value in the array. So I'm not going to use sum for num of array, right? I'm not going to do that because that is going to include all the items in the array. So I'm just going to use the conventional for loop syntax. And in that case, I also need to know the length. Well, that is covered. Let's go on. So for let I equals 0, I less than r dot length, that is the total number of items within the array, that is dot length. Then I want to use something that I used in a previous data structure algorithm video, that is reduce function. But before I write that, remember I started from 0 here, which only means that I'm starting from the first item. right? Anyways, I'm looking at the minimum sum, so I actually want to exclude the largest number. So it's going to be r dot length. When I stop at r dot length, less than r dot length, it means I'm stopping here. So if I want to omit this, I just have to say r dot length minus 1. When if I is less than r dot length here is 5. So less than r dot length means it's going to stop at 4. This is 0, 3, 5, 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So it's going to stop at the fourth index, less than r dot length. The length is 5, and 4 is going to stop at 4 because this was meant to be less than 5. And I do not want the fourth index to be included, so I'm just going to say minus 1. So it's going to be less than r dot length minus 1. So r dot length is 5 minus 1, 4. So less than 4 will be 3. So it stops at the third index, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so using the reduce function, min sum equals r dot reduce. So the reduce function will take the accumulator and the current value. It's going to pass it in, and it's going to do something which is just accumulator plus the current value. I already explained this in plus sum DSA, so you can check for plus sums. I think I explained that there, or just do a brief research or a quick research on reduce function. Then comma and 0. Remember, the 0 is the accumulator, so it's more like 0 plus core. Whatever the answer is, this changes to that, and that answer. The answer is the accumulator plus whatever the current value is again. It updates that, which is passing again as the accumulator plus the current value. It updates that, which is passing again as the accumulator plus the current value, like that, and it updates that. So that's how it works. Okay, so that's it, and we have our min sum. So what about our max sum? I'm just going to do a quick copy and paste because I'm making use of the same logic, only that I'm not going to need, I wouldn't be needing the minus 1 because I want I want the largest number in this case, and because I would want to omit the smallest number, I just need to start from index 1 rather than 0, and that does it for me. Then I'm also going to change this from min sum to max sum. So this holds the max sum, this variable or constant holds the min sum, this one holds the max sum, and whatever it holds is the result in the final accumulator value. That is, after all the addition, accumulator plus current, you get a new accumulator plus current, whatever it is, eventually is as the last answer, which is still going to be the accumulator, is what is assigned to each of these values in their cases here. Okay, so at this point, I'm just going to console log min sum and max sum, if that's possible. Okay. So I'm going to try out something. I'm going to say something like this. Let's results, because I was in the instruction. I understood that we need to print both of the values with space in between. So if I console log each of them, it's not going to work because I'm going to have each of the max or the min, both of them on two different lines. So let me see how I can achieve that. So I'm thinking of doing something like this, like concatenating, right? So let me use this method. Min sum so I think this is called temperate literal, something like that. Temporal literal, something around that. Temporal literal. If you remember what it's called, please leave it in the comment section. But something literal, template literal, something temporal literal, something like that. that would get someone who is new to this to be able to research to understand what I'm doing here. So at the moment, I'm meant to console log results. That might throw an error. All right, so I'm going to run this to see the outcome. So while that is running, it's taking some time because of I think poor network connection at the moment. While that is running, I'm just going to trust my code and paste it. Oh, it said means some not found. Means some. Means some mark some. Means some. That shouldn't be the case. I'll run again, but that shouldn't be at all. That shouldn't be. Oh, again. All right. Means some not defined. Okay. Okay. Let me take this out to see if that applies to maxsum as well. And it means I would just declare the values outside the loop. Yeah, so that's it. I'll declare the mean and the max outside the loop. Now, at some point, I thought of that, but I just ignored it. So mean sum and let max sum. All right, so okay, so let me run the code now. All right, an unexpected token. I think I see it here. There's an extra bracket or parenthesis there. All right, so I'll run the code. Yeah, so I have 25, 25. Why am I getting 25, 25? 25, 25. What was the result here? 24 and 16. So why am I getting 25, 25 if I'm working with the same arrays? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Um, I shouldn't have used the reduce. Oh no, I shouldn't have used the reduce method because it's just going to sum everything for me. It's going to sum everything for me. I forgot about that. So, like, what was the essence of using the for loop in the first place, right? So, I think you might have spotted that, isn't it? Apologies for the oversight. So, I'm just going to say something. Okay, mean sum is fine. So, I'm going to equate mean sum to 0 and max sum to 0. So I'm going to do something like this. Mean sum plus equals, that will be R index, whatever I is at that time. So I'm going to do the same thing to max sum. So interesting, isn't it? I'm going to do the same. All right, so I'll run the code again. Hopefully it runs 16 and 24, so that works. So now I'm not expected to use a comma to separate them. Remember, by the instructions I'm meant to use a space. Okay, so I guess that is already settled, so I'm just going to copy my code. So you see the space there and paste it right there in arca rank. Well, using the reduce function might have just helped someone who hasn't heard of it or used it before or used it, but just help someone get it a lot better. But that was totally unnecessary because the reduce function would just sum up everything within the array. If you are conversant with using reduce function, and you can use reduce function in a way that it wouldn't sum up everything, you can determine the index, right, that it should stop at. Please also, I would appreciate that you leave it in the comment section. I'll be glad to learn that as well. And if anything is unclear, I'll reach out to you. And if you are free enough, I would like to have a video with you so that you can put us through as well. So I'm going to run this code to check. So it's running. It's running at the moment, and it's taking some time. I wonder why. Well, I guess it's taking some time because of the network connection, and it's processing. Yeah, congratulations, we got it. And the best part for me was being able to get the expected output, not the answer, but the way it's expected to be, right? On the same line with the space. At some point you'd be like, oh, how could we have achieved this? So remember, if you cannot concatenate like this at this moment, you can use the usual quotes, means sum plus. I think I can show that to you here instead of using this backticks method. You could do this and just have mean sum plus space plus max sum. So I'll also run this to see if it doesn't throw any error. Last time we had 21624, so yeah, it still worked. It's the third one, the most recent one. So you can also concatenate this way if the other method I use is not sitting well with you at the moment. One thing I've understood with coding is sometimes maybe really strange and fuzzy at the beginning, but the more you code, the more comfortable you'll get with some things that looked complex with you before, and eventually you find it as your comfort zone. So take your time, work with what you're comfortable with now, as long as you keep coding and keep engaging yourself with coding activities, you would stretch your limits and be able to absorb other concepts that you're not comfortable with at the moment. So I also appreciate what you're comfortable with. At some point, I was comfortable with some things that I've kind of outgrown now, or kind of seeing that, okay, I could step beyond this at the moment. But everything works well, and that's what matters. All right, so the code ran successfully. So if I should submit this code, I should have all 11 test cases passed. Now, I'm so sure about that because I sorted. I'm sure that within these test cases, they might have passed in arrays that are not sorted. And I also did not hard code the length, assuming because they said 5 integers. Sometimes when it comes to these things, they just kind of throw beyond what they have initially bargained with you for in the question, right? Because as a proficient developer, software engineer, full stack engineer, whatever your discipline is at the moment, you're expected to be able to think of outside the box that you're given to handle peculiar cases by yourself. And that is why I'm doing this with you, and I enjoy doing this with you. Thank you for joining me in this session. I'll see you again in the next session. Remember to subscribe and join the community to get updates and get closer. I want to get closer to you so we can, be able to work together. Thank you. See you again.